morning. I'm answering Keegan Brady on Quora. I guess it's .com. Is it .org? I'm not sure. I think it's .com, right? She asked, or he asked. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that name, Keegan. I might be pronouncing it wrong as well, so I apologize. I don't mean to be rude. I'm realizing now I shouldn't make assumptions. So Keegan asked, "Do we?" They live. They don't live near an Orthodox synagogue. They plan on moving within the next 2 years. Excuse me. Should someone in this situation start the process of conversion now, or wait until they move? Now, the truth of the matter is, when it comes to conversion to Judaism, it's really a local matter. I know people have tried to, unify and conversion to Judaism, make unified standards. The fact of the matter is, it's up to the local Beit Din, the local Bezdin, the local rabbinical court to make a decision on these types of questions. How long does a person need? Now, if you have an Orthodox synagogue that's maybe not in walking distance, but it's in reasonable driving distance, it might be ideal to start attending Sabbath and holiday services. Since you're not Jewish yet, there's nothing wrong with you driving there. To start to get a feel, is this what you really want to get into? Is this the community you want to join? Especially if you have an eye on a particular community. Is this the rabbi you want to work with? The truth of the matter is, in 2 years, especially in a small town, a synagogue might have a different rabbi. There are rabbis who stay in the same position for 50 years, and there are in synagogues who could keep a rabbi for 50 years, and there are rabbis and synagogues that they get a new rabbi every year or two. And it's unfortunately more common for synagogues to have overturn than to keep a rabbi. And I know that from my own personal experience, having at one time been a synagogue rabbi, and now I'm an assistant rabbi in a synagogue, but it's more of a title. It's not really a position that I hold as a means of making a living. But thank God I have a good job as a chaplain. And also I'm happy that I'm just an assistant rabbi, because I don't have time to do the work that the senior rabbi does. He's very, very busy keeping the synagogue afloat, especially in a small town like we live. It is a lot more work to be a small town rabbi than to be a big town rabbi in a certain sense. Because there's a lot of outreach involved, fundraising, things like that. But that could at least get your foot in the door if the rabbi there, go talk to the rabbi, explain what your plans are. And it's really up to the rabbi if he's the one doing the conversion, or if he's the one who's going to sponsor you for the conversion and bring you to maybe a more recognized Bezdin. Either way is fine. Either way is kosher. Because we're talking about Orthodox conversion. So that's the suggestion that I would give, is start now. Check out this community that you're planning on joining. See, is it what you really want? And it's not just even a question about Judaism, because it's also a question about this particular congregation. Do you want to join this congregation? Or if you're planning to move in 2 years, maybe you want to move somewhere else. Maybe you want to check out a few different places, see what you like. The truth is, yes, you're converting to be part of the Klal Yisrael as a whole. And it's not a question of, I remember hearing the story of someone who was converting in Israel, and he's like, I can't decide, do I want to be modern Orthodox or ultra-Orthodox? And the same thing. Do I want to be Hasidish or Litvish or a Yekka or a Sephardi or this or that? What do I want to be? And the rabbi who was telling the story, he said, first and foremost, you're joining Klal Yisrael, and all of these groups are all part of Klal Yisrael. They're all part of the greater body of the Jewish people. You want to choose this one, that one. You have the luxury now that you're not Jewish yet that you can drive around, check something out. You can go. I don't know where you're located, but you're somewhere in New York. You have all different types of synagogues every week. You could be for years. You could go to a different synagogue every week, and you can check out what do the modern Orthodox do, what do the Sephardim do, what do the Yemenites do, what do this Hasidic group do, that Hasidic group, what do the Yekkas do, what do the Litvish do, and see all the different approaches, and see where do you feel comfortable. Now, once you convert, you can you can stay for Shabbos at any of those, and they're all kosher. But the same thing as before you convert. Check it out. Look, which one do you like? It's you have that freedom now, so that you can go to a Tish Friday night, and drive to, if you're drive to Brooklyn and walk around Borough Park of Williamsburg and visit a Hasidic Tish. See what something like that is like. These types of things that are not as easy once you convert, and then you actually have to go and stay somewhere for Shabbos if you want to do something like that. That's my suggestion to you. Check, get started now. Try to find the place where you want to move. If you know where you want to move, start talking to that rabbi. See what he says. He might say he doesn't get involved in conversions, which I think is wrong, but you can't tell him that. That's not really polite. Every rabbi of a shul, especially in a small town, should at least, if he himself doesn't do conversions, which he should, in my opinion, but if he doesn't, and the thing is, all right, he might want to, but he can't find two more for the Beis Din. But if he doesn't do conversions, he should at least have in his back pocket a Beis Din that he works with. He wants it to be with the RCA, he wants it to be with a Chareidiship Beis Din, whatever it is. But you find the Beis Din that every Rav in a shul should have a Beis Din that they work with, especially these days when there's such an interest in conversion to Judaism. And there is this kind of like attitude that local rabbanim shouldn't be doing conversions, which is stupid, and it's not based in Torah, unless the local rabbanim are ignorant of the halachas, which these are some of the easiest halachas that there are. So that might mean that, and your local rabbi might say, well, it's not officially starting until you move here, and they might have some kind of a thing to say it takes a certain amount of time, which again, there's no basis in halacha for that, but you have to follow your local rabbi. I had an issue recently with somebody contacting me, would I do their conversion? And I said, well, do you have a local rabbi? Do you have you have a community you want to move to? And they said, well, there's this one community. The rabbi was very impressed with us, but we don't want to get our kids immunized. And I was like, really? How much do you want to convert? That seems to be the stupidest thing that I could imagine. The school, the yeshiva there insists that the day school there in that city insists that kids have to be immunized. I don't know why this potential convert doesn't just get his kids immunized. What's the big deal? Just get it done, and then you can convert. You have everything's all ready for you, and because you think you're smarter than everybody else, you don't want to get your kids immunized. It's arrogant and it's ridiculous. I can understand. You didn't have a pressing reason, and you want to like that, but you have this pressing reason. You want to convert to Judaism. you got to make a sacrifice. Get your kids immunized. He thinks it's dangerous. But I don't know. That's ridiculous to me. Well, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to try to get this up on YouTube before I get to work, so I can post it here on Quora. God bless. Take care.